Don't think we don't see what you're doing, KD. You're not getting away scot-free.
These finals are Kevin Durant's former team that he bailed on against Kyrie Irving's former team he wanted out of.
And in today's video, we're gonna call a spade and hold nothing back.
We would not have beat the Cavs without Kevin.
I was like, I need a change.
Because all of us, we just talk basketball.
KD, what you gonna do?
And then the Warriors win it without you, that has to be the final straw for KD.
Kevin Durant has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets.
I will say, I'm not surprised, but I just didn't expect it to happen this soon.
I think that it's the right move for Kevin Durant to make because being paired with Kyrie Irving has been nothing short of a migraine.
And of course, like many others, Stephen A. Smith put most of the blame on Kyrie Irving. And I can see why.
He followed Kyrie Irving to Brooklyn. He accepted a coach with zero experience coaching because that's what Kyrie wanted to do.
But there needs to be more blame put on KD.
KD as a superstar, how difficult is it to play for a guy that really doesn't have a lot of coaching experience?
Steve has a lot of basketball experience, and I think that that bodes well for our team, and our whole coaching staff has been in the league for decades, you know. And
after all, Steve Nash did work for the Warriors as an advisor when KD was around. And we also cannot forget what KD had to say about Coach Kerr and his offense.
Kevin Durant recently said that he was different from the rest of the Warriors and that he had some issues with the team's motion-heavy offense.
We already went through this in my last video. You can go check it out. But it's obvious at this point that KD, he felt like an outsider.
And then I heard you tell Kevin Durant he can have whatever contract he wants next year.
Yeah, that was just for the media. He can't have anything like that at all. Mid-level. Yeah, mid-level.
Championship parade. It's all joy. It's all celebration. And there were jokes thrown around here and there. KD was the target.
Behind closed doors.
Because I think last year he told Steph he could have any contract he wants too.
Yeah,
so
well, yeah, that was different. He's been here from the run, you know, the way before days. He's earned it.
Everybody and their mothers following the Warriors would tell you, Curry was drafted. He was the homegrown talent. Of course they'd love him more.
In an interview with Rachel Nichols, Steph Curry responded to Durant's criticism of the Warriors' offense, citing the 2 titles that the team won with Durant as proof that it works.
And KD, wasn't that the reason why you wanted to be a Warrior in the first place?
In OKC, I played with a lot of athletes. I didn't play with a lot of skilled guys, not like shooters and ball handlers. I was like, I need a change.
But of course, that may not be his honest answer. It looks to me like he's doing the same thing as he's doing now.
And it got to a point where he had to make a move because in the end, Kevin Durant was looking very, very bad.
They're not going to say it, but I will. He's clearly running away when things get tough. He did it in OKC and now he's doing it in Brooklyn.
And this was before the season even started. I was tired of having to be the only guy that can make threes, make jump shots, and consistently make them.
I find it hilarious that KD, of all people, is going to try to say to the media, oh, why are we asking this question? When he keeps bringing it up in his podcast.
A no-brainer. I would do that shit a million times.
And I guess he's right here. I mean, he's doing it right now. And again, he's praising the same offense that he criticized later on.
I knew from watching the games, just looking at interviews, just seeing everything that y'all about. It's like, that's the way I wanted to play, and that's the way I need to go to, you know, continue to keep getting better as a player.
Now, when it comes to KD leaving the Warriors, I don't have much to say. It's unfortunate. They could have easily repeated if he wasn't hurt.
I feel like he was pressured from, you know, his teammates. I feel like he was pressured from the coaching staff.
But let's not pretend like the media didn't say anything. Of course they were. They want KD to play these games. They were even going as far as to say that they needed him.
So if Iguodala is clearly now seriously compromised, I think you need KD to win the series.
Now, not everybody agreed. There were some pushbacks when Stephen A. had this to say.
Kevin Durant at 75% is all you need.
I don't think you can play with a calf injury at 75%.
Again, I don't blame them for saying this. Most people didn't expect KD to get hurt right away. I mean, he was killing us in the first quarter.
Until Monday night, though, we're going to hear a lot about how the Warriors, the odds that they'll actually be able to come back down 3-1. What do you think?
I kind of agree with what Stephen A. said. I mean, it's going to take Kevin Durant giving an answer.
Now, there were rumblings for a full season that KD was about to leave, and Draymond, I mean, he felt the brunt of it since he's so outspoken.
You're not the only person that has to answer that question. And to be quite frank with you, you're honestly the last person that has to answer the question because you don't really say Like, you don't say much to the media. If anything, you tell them to shut the up.
We've gone through this multiple times. KD never felt like he truly belonged in the Warriors squad. Even Draymond opened up about this huge elephant in the room.
I don't tell him to shut the up. I kind of have a conversation. And so I'm stuck answering that question all the time. And due to that, there was always an elephant in the room amongst us, as opposed to with them, they didn't have that elephant.
Now Dre, he alluded to it. KD spoke about it. Yeah, the way he speaks to the media, the way he deals with them, it's a bit weird, and it's also concerning.
I felt like the media knew more than me. I almost had them on a pedestal of like, they got more history, knowledge of the game, they more experienced than me in this area of the NBA.
That's par for the course when you're a young player, and really, it's what KD says next that starts to worry me.
So once I started to get more experience and realize like, oh no, they can never be what I am, or know what I know, or understand it the way I understand it.
This is like the little boy that grows up and realizes his parents aren't as smart as he thought they were. It's clear that in this analogy, KD's the boy that becomes resentful of his parents and also is too full of himself. We'll talk about that a little bit later though.
5 points and 9 rebounds. This is going to be a painful way for the Heat season to come to an end.
LeBron in 2020 won his first championship since that 2016 moment, and it's reignited an old debate.
We love Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is a high-end competitor. Brings it 100% every night. The most athletic point guard in the history of basketball, as far as I'm concerned. But he's not the easiest person in the world to play with. He is an alpha male. He believes in doing things his way. Those are the kind of things that KD and you and others have had to work with.
It's so typical in the KD versus LeBron debate to put down Westbrook. I mean, this is just annoying.
Career 38% from three-point range. His defense is obviously improved, obviously. This brother's a sniper extraordinaire. You gonna sit here with a straight face and say there's not even a discussion? There's no debate at all? At all with the talent? I'm not talking resume. I'm talking talent.
Perk caught that, and I'm pretty sure you did too at home. Stephen A. Smith resorted to the talent argument because he couldn't resort to anything else. Overall greatness, we all know LeBron has that. And to be quite frank with you, talent, LeBron has it easily.
Didn't LeBron James just have to deal with a guy by the name of Kyrie Irving down there in Cleveland and won a championship with him?
And I know what people are going to say. That was before Kyrie became toxic. Explain to me why he wants to play with LeBron now.
KD, you cannot put on LeBron's level. You cannot say, oh, it's close between KD and LeBron.
It was obvious back then. It's even more obvious now with all that's happened throughout. I'm going to let Max just spit the facts right now.
KD came through when he was so crewed up, it was impossible to lose.
The KD fans out there will never be able to argue against this point. The Warriors championships those years, I mean, they were too OP.
Against that same 73-win team. When OKC looked in those playoffs like they might be the best team in the world, KD and Russell Westbrook couldn't get it done.
Imagine losing to the Warriors, and then the Warriors losing to LeBron, and then KD wanting to join the Warriors to beat LeBron. I mean, come on.
He's on the clock because of who the champion is now.
After the bubble, KD was finally about to play, and this is when people thought, okay, he's winning it all now.
And so that dude is going to be waiting. Even in his 18th season, he's going to be waiting. And KD, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
What he would do is ask Sean Marks to get Harden in a trade, blockbuster trade. He gets him. But Harden is injured, his hammy is not doing well, so then he loses in the second round. And so, of course, the excuses come from KD.
I don't have any regrets at all, because I feel like if we just stay healthy with the Nets, we had a great chance of finishing too.
So this season right here was supposed to be the season where they all were healthy and the big three was to win it all against, I guess, the Lakers.
My question for the panel is, how come Kevin Durant didn't decide maybe I'm staying and ask them to move Kyrie and bring in assets to win there instead of doing it the other way?
But it all fell apart, and now KD has to run away from all the damage he's caused with Kyrie.
Vince, the reality is the drama overwhelmed this group. And I think Kevin just wants a fresh start elsewhere.
I'll tell you what, James Harden has been vindicated in all this.
I'll take you back to January 12th in Chicago. We're at the United Center. The Nets have just dominated the Bulls, who at the time were leading the East, with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving all on the floor. Everybody is beaming walking out of that locker room.
After that game, which we all remember, the Nets looked very good. Harden went in the press conference and said this.
Are you surprised at how quickly, I mean, you guys are back in sync like that?
Nah, like we're that good. Like, we got a chance to be that good.
In some kind of fashion, we'll see Kai play.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot if I got to.
Shout out to Nick Friedel, man. I don't like him too much, but he detailed the storyline very well here.
They were tantalizingly good when they were on the floor together, the three of them, right?
There, Hannah.
Yeah.
A few days later, Kevin Durant injures his knee. He's out for a couple months. Harden realizes in that moment, in that time frame without KD, nothing's going to change Kyrie's mind. He is not taking that shot. They go to Harden and they say point blank, "Are you here?" And he says, "I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. I don't know what's going to happen." That set the tone for everything else we've seen.
Harden saw what was coming. He saw what was ahead for the Brooklyn Nets' future, and he did not want to be involved at all. He wanted to clean his hands of all the BS that was going on in Brooklyn, and at least he made it past the first round.
Here sits Kevin Durant today. Another first-round exit, 2 in 3 years. Humiliated.
He got swept by the Celtics, the same Celtics that went to the finals. And let's be honest here, KD, there's another reason. There's an ulterior motive to why he wants to do this now.
And Kevin Durant.
Man, he's so old now. Woj, man, he's getting bodied by Shams these days. I'll put it this way, people are starting to like Windy more than Woj. And Shams, he was the one that broke the news first about KD requesting out. I mean, this guy is just clearly on his computer every day. And what is Woj going to tell us that we don't already know from Shams?
Golden State winning the championship this season, and just the flood of criticism and second guessing that landed on Kevin Durant, I think it contributed to a tipping point.
I think my mother could have said the same thing, man. This is so pathetic, man. Now the Warriors, they dominated against the Nets at their home building during the season, and it really did show how much better Curry was.
Players may say it's just another game or just 1 out of 82 on the schedule, but deep down inside they know there's a little more to it than that.
It got so bad that they didn't just stop chanting MVP to KD. They started chanting it for Curry.
And Utah's defense over the last 4 or 5 games has tanked, and so they're struggling.
I would chant this too if I was in the building.
Backups 21, their defenses look better the last 2 possessions.
Drip, drip.
Drip, drip, indeed. I mean, Steph Curry just made it rain all over the court. 37 points, 9 of them, 9 3-pointers made.
He was 4 out of 5 from deep in the first quarter.
Oh, that's no defense for that.
Brooklyn was up.
Go to shimmy.
A year ago, this game was a blowout for the Nets. Klay Thompson was on the court. This year, it's a blowout for the Warriors, and Klay Thompson is still not on the court. And with the Warriors winning the championship, this just confirms it. KD now has to run away.
Kevin Durant wants to go to the Phoenix Suns.
Buyers beware. The price for Kevin Durant has been set so high, it's so steep in fact, that Sports Illustrated's Chris Mannix has this to say about it. The price appears to be 2 All-Star caliber talents and a cache of draft picks. If a team doesn't have that, one exec said, the response has been, well, go out and get it. Man, all this for a guy that's so flaky, he'll probably ask out the next season. Now, Benny Boy being on the Nets roster just caused yet another problem for them in terms of the trades.
The Nets cannot trade for Wiggins, Bam, Booker, or any of these names as long as Ben Simmons is on the Nets.
It looks like you can't have 2 rookie designated extended players, and Ben Simmons being one of them. I mean, that means Booker cannot come in. So if you want to have a deal done that doesn't include Booker, you'll have to take a guy like Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, but it's going to be more complicated than that.
On paper, a Bridges and Ayton trade would work, but because of the hard cap, because he has base year compensation, you basically would have to find a third team for him.
Man, who knew Ben Simmons would add this much to the problems the Nets have now? They'll probably trade him though.
He can't be traded. So now I look at Ben Simmons as the key to a Kevin Durant trade.
But the Heat, they don't have as many good assets to give away than Phoenix. So you probably have to give away a guy like Butler or Lowry in this trade. And I'm pretty sure the Nets don't want Lowry. So they'll have to look elsewhere to see what they got available to them.
My first phone call, if I'm Sean Marks, is to the Toronto Raptors to see if I can get Scotty Barnes.
Now, LeBron is the last person I want to see on the Raptors uniform. But the other person is KD! Kevin freaking Durant. I'm tired of people talking about this one.
Kevin Durant could walk in there and have OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Precious Achiuwa, Chris Boucher. That team would be the favorite to win the title next year. But you don't get Kevin Durant without Scotty Barnes.
You're not serious right now, man. Come on. Fine, I'll entertain this.
Scotty Barnes at $7.5 million. And then when you add a player like Gary Trent, right? That looks good. But when you try the trade, it fails.
It fails. That means we have to give up more. Like, give up Birch and Young and more draft picks to get KD? Are you kidding me?
Ooh, that trade is successful.
It's all about...
To make things even worse, the asking price just got up higher because of the Rudy Gobert trade. The stupidest. Minnesota, what are you doing? You're ruining it for everyone else.
Perk.
This is what I'm thinking of.
Oh boy, what is he about to say now? How much worse can this get?
I mean, if I'm Toronto, I want Kevin Durant too. But do Kevin Durant want Toronto?
There it is, Perk. There it is. I knew you had it in you. This is exactly what I'm saying. Why would KD want to come here? That's stupid.
He asked to go to Phoenix, and he asked to go to Miami.
Sure.
People go to Miami on vacation. What makes you think that he wants to go to Toronto? Well, it's snowing.
Perk, come on, man. It snows in New York as well.
Kevin Durant is not he's not ring chasing at this moment. Kevin Durant is a two-time champion.
Is this dude serious right now? Oh my God, bro.
But if I'm the Atlanta Hawks and you just got Murray, I'm giving up Hunter and Collins and figuring out some other pieces, maybe picks that the Hawks may have for Kevin Durant. Why not?
This is even worse than the Pelicans trade that somebody else suggested on the panel. Oh my, okay. Let's just move on from Perk, okay? Because KD, he's been tweeting like usual. And he's talking about how the people that have been in the gym with him, they know what I'm about. They know what KD's about. He's that guy. And I've noticed this sort of complex that KD has around him, man.
The agenda to minimize you historically, it's been really weird to watch.
It's been that's why I be feeling like, yo, y'all just be hating on the God. Like
part of me thinks he's joking, but another part of me sees him constantly referring to himself as this. And it's like, come on, dude.
What have I done for you to want to discredit everything? I put in a lot of work for this game. I've been at it for 15, 16 years. You'll think I'm a 6-year veteran in the league the way people talk about me.
KD's ways of handling criticism and the way he looks at people, especially in the media, you could tell this dude has a God complex. He thinks of himself very highly. Another person that has a huge ego and talks a lot, well, Draymond Green, he had this to say on the podcast that he did live in New York City with JJ Redick. It was an interesting watch.
We would not have beat the Cavs coming back around without Kevin. And here's why.
For Draymond to be making this argument actually shocks me a little because of obviously what he said before about him being double teamed less.
Teams have figured us out. And I personally don't think at that point Steph Curry had figured out I'm going to get a bucket whenever I want to.
That is absolute bullcrap. You mean to tell me at this point, a 2-time MVP, second being an unanimous one, Curry didn't have that bucket getter in him? Oh, come on, bro. This is such lies. Now I want to dive deeper into KD and Kyrie's dynamic with the Nets.
When I say I'm here with Kev, I think that it really entails us, managing this franchise together alongside Joe and Sean and just our group of family members that we have in our locker room, in our organization.
This dude really out here talking like he's the owner of the Nets, like he hands out the contracts. This is absolutely infuriating to watch.
I think we just got to make some moves this offseason, really talk about it, and really be intentional about what we're building and have some fun with it, make it enjoyable, and hopefully we get to start from day one just as a squad and as a family, and we just really worry about us.
And what do you know? When you let somebody like this dictate all the decision-making in the Brooklyn Nets franchise, along with KD as well, it leads to a lack of accountability.
Kyrie said, coaching ain't really important to us. So what did they do? They didn't go hire one of the greatest coaches. They wouldn't hire Steve Nash because that made the players comfortable.
So those that blame Kyrie, I perfectly understand it. But don't forget KD's side of this.
And when you watch them play against the Nets, you notice Ime Udoka can challenge Jason Tatum. He can challenge Jaylen Brown. Kyrie wasn't going to be challenged by Steve Nash. KD knows that too.
And KD, man, he wants to be treated like the best player, but not have the responsibilities to go with it.
The crazy thing is not he's just breaking up with the Nets. He's also breaking up with Kyrie.
KD really thinks little of the people criticizing him. He really thinks so highly of himself that he doesn't understand that we all see through your BS, man.
Do you plan on having input with personnel decisions as the franchise player?
And yeah, of course. I mean, I want to know who I'm playing with out on the floor. You know, I want to know what we're thinking. I mean, Sean and the front office, all of us, we just talk basketball regardless because we enjoy basketball. So sometimes our team may come up and what we may need and what I see from a player's perspective. And we always had conversations. That's what makes great organizations.
Yeah, sure you do. It's pretty obvious to me that there's a lot of dishonesty going on with these guys when they talk to the podium.
Kevin Durant said, yeah, I'm interested. I want to know what the moves that we're making. But he haven't talked to Sean Marks or returned their calls since, like, for the last month and a half. I don't know. Make that make sense to me.
In my last video talking about KD, we brought up that Sean Marks and him have not spoken. And KD, it's a sign that he wanted to get away from Sean Marks as much as he could. And obviously, the media, the way they cover Kevin Durant, there is some room for KD's criticisms of them to be valid. But
some of the questions, they didn't seem so intelligent to me anymore. People wanted to praise me more than I liked or hate me more than I liked, make a big deal out of so much other shit. And I was just like, this game is simple to me. So some of the stuff that y'all asking really doesn't move me the way it used to. I just chalk that up to just maturity and experience.
I'm trying to be as charitable as I can, but it's so hard hearing these words coming from Kevin Durant. He really thinks so low of us and people in the media and people just covering the NBA. Because to say something like that, to say it doesn't move you, like they're peons and he's just this high and mighty guy. These questions aren't meant to move you in any way. They're supposed to try to get an answer out of you.
My initial reaction is it takes courage to be happy, regardless of the relationship, whether it's family, friends, whether it's somebody you dating, whether it's somebody you in business with. So many people woke up this morning and in dysfunctional situations that they can walk away from, but they don't have the courage to.
With KD, it always comes back to him trying to find happiness. But the thing that Jalen's missing here is that he's the one that caused the dysfunction in the franchise. Him and Kyrie, of course. And it's like, he went in, joined the Warriors. He had a great situation going on. He wasn't happy there, so he went to Brooklyn. And it's like, come on, I get it. But at the same time, you had a great situation in Golden State. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Players are going to force these owners' hands until the next CBA comes in 2024, where they're going to probably have some very stringent rules put in place. And so all we can do at this point is poke fun at them and laugh. If you want more hilarity on the way, a 1-hour spoof on Ben Simmons, the entire saga, go ahead and check it out. It's hilarious, and I'll probably make a part 2 next year.
KD, I hope that he finds happiness. If you can't find happiness at Golden State, where are you going to find it at?